Hey everyone, welcome back to Proficiency in Play. This is Pip, your Dungeon Master. Well, at the end of the episode you just listened to, our players hit level 3. And if you've seen my arena video, you know that arena rank 3 and level 3 line up. And at level 3 in the 2024 version of the Dungeons & Dragons rulebook, people get to choose their subclasses. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a look into the subclasses they chose so you can follow along with some of the abilities that they're using. All right, let's get right into it. First up, we have Artemis, and she chose to go the College of Glamour route. So this is a Glamour Bard found in the player's handbook. And at level 3, it grants you 2 unique things. The first of which is an ability called Beguiling Magic, which allows you to keep Charm Person and Mirror Image prepared at all times, as well as gives you the ability that after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell of any kind, you can force a creature within 60 feet of yourself to make a Wisdom saving throw, and on a failed save, you get to choose whether they're frightened or charmed, and this will last 1 minute. They do get to repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns, but a free frighten or charm once per long rest is a really, really powerful thing. As I said, you can only use this once per long rest, but if you spend one of your Bardic Inspiration die with no action required, you can refresh this ability. So a really awesome way to turn the Bardic Inspiration into some controlling magic, as Frightened and Charmed can be very, very powerful in combat. The second thing it does is called Mantle of Inspiration. And this uses your Bardic Inspiration again, but as a bonus action, you can use one of your Bardic Inspiration dice, and you'll roll that die and give a number of creatures equal to your Charisma modifier twice whatever you rolled in temporary hit points, as well as the ability to immediately move up to their movement speed, and that movement does not provoke any opportunity attacks. This is an absolutely game-changing ability to allow your entire team to reposition, as well as giving them a health shield, can be very, very powerful. And there is no once per long rest stipulation on this, so you can use it a lot if you're in a kind of position where you want to do this. It just does utilize one of your Bardic Inspiration dice. In this video, I'm really only going to cover the abilities they get at level 3, and I'm not going to dig into abilities later on, though I will probably come back and revisit the characters and their abilities every several levels, just so you guys can keep track of what our characters are doing and how it really works. Alright, let's move on to Gemma Hearthspark. Now, if you remember, Gemma is playing the Apothecary class, which is a homebrewed class that I designed. And she is taking the Analyst subclass. If you haven't seen my Apothecary video, please go check that out, which goes into more detail about the Apothecary class as a whole, as well as the Analyst subclass. But again, I'm only going to be looking at what she'll gain at level 3 here. Upon choosing the Analyst subclass, you will gain a couple more proficiencies. I added some proficiencies to each of my Apothecary subclasses to really make them a little more unique. And the Analyst gets Calligrapher's Supplies, Medium Armor, and the Investigation skill. Now, if you already have proficiency in the Investigation skill because you chose it on character creation, I do allow you to choose a different proficiency among the list that you could have chosen at character creation. In this case, Gemma Hearthspark already did have proficiency in Investigation, so she ended up choosing proficiency in a different skill. Next up, we have the Analysis feature, which is the benchmark feature of the Analyst. And this is something that will grow as the Analyst levels up. This feature gets better and allows you to do more things. But at level 3, what it does is you can take a bonus action and make an investigation check. And the difficulty class of that check, you're going to target a enemy creature with this. And the difficulty class of the check is 10 plus the creature's challenge rating value. So it does get more difficult to analyze a more powerful creature. But if you do pass the check, you just gain access to the stat block of the creature straight out of the monster manual, or if it's a custom stat block, I print them out and give them to Gemma. This is a really powerful thing. So you'll see in the upcoming episodes, Gemma will say things like, oh, we just need to get 10 more hit points, 10 more damage done on this guy. And the reason she knows that is because she's using this analysis feature. With the Apothecary, each subclass focuses in on a different style of consumable that they spend their alchemy points on as well. And for the Analyst, those are spell scrolls. So you'll see more and more Gemma looking a little bit more like a wizard per se, but rather than casting in the moment, she will create spell scrolls with her alchemy points. And at level 3, she has access to cantrips, which cost 1 alchemy point, first level spells, which cost 2 alchemy points, and second level spells, which cost 3 alchemy points. This pattern continues all the way up through level 9, where the cost and alchemy points of the spell is equal to the spell's level plus 1. And if you haven't seen my Apothecary video, you should really go check that out. But the Apothecary has twice their Apothecary level in alchemy points. So these spell scrolls are relatively costly, because at level 3 she would only have 6 total points. But as Gemma levels in the Apothecary class, she will gain access to the higher leveled spells at the same rate that a full caster would. So at level 5 she'll gain 3rd level spells, and so on. Next up we have Mercy. Mercy chose the champion fighter from the player's handbook. And the champion is a relatively simple class that focuses a lot on the critical hit. She really likes rolling critical hits, and so the champion was kind of a no-brainer for her. The very first thing they get at level 3 is improved critical. Means instead of just nat 20s, you can critically hit on a 19 or 20. So you'll see a lot of Mercy's crits coming up. Remarkable Athlete also gives the champion fighter advantage on initiative rolls and athletics checks. And every time you score a crit, immediately after doing the damage, you can move half of your move speed without provoking opportunity attacks, which is great for getting to that next enemy. So you crit this one and it dies, and you can immediately start rushing towards another enemy. Again, champion fighter is a pretty simple subclass, but it can be really strong. Next up, we have the opposite of a simple subclass in the Soul Knife Rogue. This is a rogue that was not included in the 5th edition version of the player's handbook, but was made a little later and ended up being included in the 2024 edition player's handbook. And Riala has chosen to take this on. The idea of a Soul Knife Rogue is that they harness psychic power to create daggers as well as to bolster some of their abilities. So they use the power of their mind to either materialize weapons or to bolster some of their abilities. At level 3, they will gain energy dice, and there's a table in the player's handbook that shows how many you get and what size dice they are. At level 3 they are d6s, and she has 3 of them, and as she levels up in Soul Knife Rogue, she'll gain more energy dice, and the dice will increase in size, similar to how a bard's bardic inspiration works. You will regain a single energy die upon finishing a short rest, or all of your energy dice upon finishing a long rest. And at level 3, you can use those energy dice for 2 different abilities. The first one, Psi Bolstered Knack. Upon failing an ability check that you're proficient in, you can roll an energy die and add the value to the total of the check. So it's just a little bit of a buff to ability checks that you're proficient in, and rogues are pretty proficient in a lot of things. So just an easy way to, if you feel like you just barely missed an important check, you can add in that d6 at this point and see if that changes the failure to a success. The other thing you can do is utilize the Psychic Whispers ability, which allows you to speak telepathically with a number of creatures you can see equal to your proficiency bonus. So at level 3, that is only 2 creatures, but it is 2-way telepathic communication. So you can speak to them and they can speak to you telepathically. How this works is you roll an energy die, and your telepathic link will last a number of hours equal to the value rolled on the die. As well as having the energy dice, a big benchmark of the Soul Knife Rogue is the ability to materialize their own daggers. And this is the Psychic Blades ability. Whenever you take the attack action and you have an open hand, you can materialize a dagger of psychic energy, which can be used in melee or has a throw range of 60 feet, 120 feet. And it uses a d6. And it effectively functions like it has the light property. So with a bonus action, you could throw a second one as well. Although the second one only does a d4's worth of damage. So just stronger daggers that you can make with your mind. And they do have the Vex Mastery. Last up are magic items. Something I do at my table is when people choose a subclass, I give them a not very impactful in combat, but good for role-playing magic item that goes along with the subclass they chose. And so I made a list for every single subclass of magic items that my players could get if they choose that subclass. And these are the ones that they get based on the subclasses they chose. And in next week's episode, you'll actually see that throughout that episode, they get these items from people that they know in Revel. And so for Artemis, because she chose Glamour Bard, she gets a cloak of many fashions. And this is a cloak that she can wear, and it will always be a cloak, but she can choose what it looks like. And she can even choose the size of it, hood or no hood, whether it's a long riding cloak or a short mantle, as well as any design or colors on it. And you'll see coming up that Artemis often will talk about what color her cloak is or what it looks like. Gemma, who chose the Analyst Apothecary, gets an Eyes of the Eagle magic item. And this is effectively a spyglass. It lets her see things farther away and gives her advantage on perception checks that utilize the Eyes of the Eagle. Mercy gets a really funny one with Champion Fighter that I've baked into the story in the arena. But this is a combination of Smoldering Armor and a Dread Helm. What Smoldering Armor does is it's a pure black breastplate that smokes lightly just all the time. And the Dread Helm is a black helmet that obscures the wearer's face completely and makes their eyes glow beady red. So she's going to take on like a villainous role in the arena, and she will really look the part. The Soul Knife Rogue for Riala gains the Lock of Trickery. Now, how I'm utilizing this, and you'll see this next episode, it's a little bit of a spoiler, is that the Baron gives her this lock to try and open with her mind. What the Lock of Trickery is it's a lock that's very difficult to open, but I've changed it a little bit. And this is going to be a lock that has no key at all. And once Riala can figure out how to open and close it with her mind, it's pretty much going to be a perfect lock that can't be picked except by extraordinary magical means. And there's a little bit of a treat that not even Riala knows once she gets her lock open. So you'll notice I've been asking for sleight of hand checks for picking a lock with her mind. And once she passes one, we'll see what kind of ability she gets. So that's all for this episode. Just a quick overview of the subclasses my players chose for their characters, as well as the magic items that they received for choosing those. You'll see them utilize these kinds of abilities throughout play going forward. So I just wanted to make sure you knew why they were able to use them. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an upcoming video. And give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful. Thanks so much. And as always, I'll catch you next time.